Alright guys, I'm just going to get straight to the point. No editing, no jump shots, no nothing. This team has issues. I've never in my life had a win feel more like a loss than what we had today in beating the Detroit Lions at Levi Stadium. I am scratching my head. I am absolutely just... I don't know what to think about this team. There were some bright spots, definitely, and I'll get to those in a second. But man, there are a lot of things we got to work on, and you got to start with Ahkello Witherspoon. You know, everybody, myself included, bought into the offseason hype train of Ahkello Witherspoon's going to make that big jump. Richard Sherman is going to coach up Ahkello Witherspoon and turn him into a standout corner. Instead, it was like Dante Johnson was out there all over again. Ahkello Witherspoon got absolutely torched. And that those aren't even just, you know, the plays that he gave up. It's not even just that. Matt Stafford missed a bunch of deep balls. He had a bunch of overthrows where Witherspoon was burnt on the play. Had Stafford made the right throw, the day would have been even worse for number 23. Ahkello Witherspoon played like absolute garbage. He ended up getting benched later in the game for Jimmy Ward. You get benched for Jimmy Ward, and there's obviously something going on there. I don't know if Ahkello was just in his own head. I don't know what the deal is. I know that they were picking on him a ton. Matt Stafford was not looking Richard Sherman's way at all. That's a good thing. But, man, Ahkello Witherspoon looked absolutely terrible. And after giving up that touchdown week 1 against Stephon Diggs, coming out this week, giving up a touchdown to Kenny Golladay, and then, you know, playing like he did the rest of the game, Ahkello Witherspoon might need to sit out a game or something. I know we don't really have the bodies to do it, but maybe he needs to take a little step back from things and observe things from the sidelines and get a better perspective of what's going on defense. Because when he's out there on the field, he looks absolutely lost. I don't want to pile on him too much more, but god damn, he looked bad today. He looked awful. Some other negatives. Outside of DeForest Buckner, who on this team wants to rush the passer? Who on this team wants to give a damn on that defensive line? Because outside of DeForest Buckner, I'm not seeing anybody. Solomon Thomas, you were a number 3 pick in the draft. You were a first rounder. You were being counted on to produce, and you're doing absolutely nothing. I didn't hear your name one time today. And then Eric Armstead, in a contract year, you know, they picked up his option in the offseason. You know, they had high hopes for Armstead. The guy, you know, has had trouble staying healthy, but no, this was going to be the year. This was going to be the year Eric Armstead actually does something. Where were you today? What were you doing, 91? Outside of DeForest Buckner, the rest of that defensive line is pretty god-awful, if I'm being honest with you. DeForest Buckner covers up so many deficiencies, it's not even funny. Let's see, what other negatives can we point out? Oh yeah, George Kittle somehow, you know, he plays tight end, but he's somehow forgotten how to catch the football. George Kittle, all that hype about George Kittle is kind of calming down a little bit. Where have you been, 85? How did you forget to learn how to catch? I'm not understanding that. The offensive line looked awful today. Mike McGlinchey got beat like a drum. So did the right guard person. Weston Richburg having false starts. Laken Tomlinson getting beat. The offensive line is bad. You know, Jimmy Garoppolo suffered for it. Jimmy Garoppolo had no time to throw. I mean, he was sick. He was sacked, what, 6 times? And, you know, when he did have time, he was seeing ghosts and he was making some really bad throws, really bad decisions. He got bailed the hell out late in the game on a play that was going to be a pick 6 and likely would have ended up costing this team the game. But he got bailed out on a holding call on the other side of the field, thank God. But Jimmy Garoppolo looked like garbage too. He's locking onto his number 1 read. He's looking like a Colin Kaepernick out there, locking onto that first guy. If it's not there, then what? It's like if Trent Taylor gets covered up, if Trent Taylor is locked up, he doesn't know what to do. Pierre Garçon made some really solid plays, but outside of that, I mean, what did our receivers do today? Go watch my last video. This team needs Josh Gordon. This team needs a playmaker because obviously Jimmy Garoppolo and this offense struggles when the guys are covered. We don't have a guy that you can throw the ball to even when he's covered. Josh Gordon's that guy. If they don't make that move to go get Josh Gordon, guys, I'm frustrated right now. I know we won the game 30-27. We had a 30-10 lead. We almost gave that thing away. And even when we had that 30-10 lead, I'll be honest with you, it felt like we were losing the ball game. We did not play well today at all. There were some bright spots. Richard Sherman looked great. They didn't look his way at all. He looks like, the old Richard Sherman. That's awesome. Who else looked pretty solid? Matt Breida. Matt Breida looked great rushing the ball. He had over 100 yards on the ground. Had a couple big splash plays. Had that big 67, 66-yard touchdown run. Matt Breida looked good. Alfred Morris looked all right. But outside of that, we didn't do anything today, guys. We won the ball game, but it don't feel like it. This team has a lot of work to do. There's a lot of questions that Kyle Shanahan is going to have to answer. And I don't think that he has the bodies. I don't think he has the guys on this team to make those adjustments and answer those questions that we have. This team's got to do something and do something fast because we're going into Kansas City next week playing a red-hot Kansas City Chiefs team with a stud quarterback in Pat Mahomes, man. This secondary is going to get eaten alive unless they do something and do something quick. I know we won the game, guys. I get it. But I have never felt more uninspired after a win in my life. I am dumbfounded. I have no words. We didn't have it today, guys. The Lions should have won that game. The 49ers did not deserve to win that ball game. Kyle Shanahan, you're supposed to be this mastermind. I get we put up 30 points, but, the Lions, their defense is pretty bad. You're supposed to put up 30 points against the Detroit Lions. There's a lot more holes on this team. I don't even know what to say. Yeah, it's nice that we're 1-1, but it feels like we're 0-2. Straight up. So, either we get this fixed, or it's going to be a long, long season.